The man accused of sexual battery on a child and for the murder of 13-year-old Madeline Soto.
Those documents include several back and forth conversations between Sterns and presumably his family.
Stephan Sterns goes back and forth again with his mother and who we believe might be his father, Chris Sterns. Stephan Sterns seems to believe that there's still some hope for his case, while his mother makes reference to others possibly being involved.
Because a lot of people feel like the mom, and this is just a feeling. Nobody has evidence. None of us know how involved or how not involved she is. The only ones that know are the case detectives, and they may or may not know. They may just be building their case.
After Stephan Sterns' trial was delayed, the state attorney's office released this 64-page document of email correspondence between Sterns and who appears to be his parents. Conversation starts off with Sterns complaining about life in isolation, saying, quote, "It's not exactly the Ritz, it's a small cell and the pod is quite noisy."
I personally found it so annoying that he talked about the dirty and disgusting conditions inside the jail. Hey, buddy, you are standing accused of sexual abuse of an 8-year-old going up until she's 13. You also are stand accused of murdering Madeline Soto. You don't deserve conditions that are like the Ritz. You deserve bugs crawling on you, and I hope you don't have one good moment, not a day, not one good second inside your custody. And your emails from jail just show how hideous you are.
Matt is flat and has very little cushion left. The cell is small, filthy, and has some spots on the wall that appear to be bloody fingerprints. He later complains of his coffee supply running low and continues to ask for a book.
My coffee supply is low. How come his parents in those text messages, how come his mom and his dad didn't say to him, are you repenting to God? Are you sorry for what you did? I know it's a jail call, it's a jail email, and listen, these people aren't completely stupid. They get that people are going to be listening to it. And part of the reason why the mom is throwing blame onto Jennifer Soto is because she's seizing an opportunity. She wants to take some of the heat off of her son. And this is a sick, evil, twisted way of a parent trying to take responsibility away from their son, their grown son. I mean, Stephan Sterns is a grown man. So this is the mom taking the blame away. We all know that Jennifer Soto sanctioned this man, this monster. She sanctioned this evil monster right here to sleep with her own daughter, her own flesh and blood. Jennifer Soto said the night her daughter was murdered, she said, you know, Stephan, take Maddie into the private bedroom where dad sleeps, into dad's old bedroom. And I'm going to sleep alone here. You go and sleep with my daughter. She's 13 years old. She just turned 13. Take her and go to the private room. And guess what? Some short hours later, she was dead. She was dead. And we don't know if he raped her before he killed her. And I would bet my pension on it. And I hate to say this, but this guy, I would bet my pension that this guy raped her before he killed her. And that's the sad part, is that he is now complaining and bitching and whining. This sheriff right here, this is the guy who we watched transport him back from Orange County to the Osceola County Sheriff's Office. And what did he do that whole time? This scumbag, all he did was complain about how it was cold and his core body temperature was low. You know what? Turn the air conditioner on. Let this guy freeze. Let him freeze to death. As far as I'm concerned, this guy deserves the bare minimum. The bare minimum. That we're going to go into the thoughts and the thought process from a detective's perspective as it pertains to the 2022 Nissan Sentra. Why that potentially that car followed the exact same route back to the crime scene where Madeline was discovered. And where I am going to give you my thoughts on whether it was Stephan Sterns solo, Stephan and Jennifer together, or Jennifer solo. And I don't hear a lot of people talking about that potentiality that Jennifer could have went back there on her own if Stephan told her exactly what happened. to go back there and say goodbye to her daughter, which sounds sick, right? It sounds sick and twisted, but trust me, in the cases that I've covered, nothing seems crazy to me. Nothing seems impossible to me. And those are some of the potential things by whoever drove this car. And I'm saying he because I believe firmly it was him. I do not think that it was her, but you never know.
I agree
with them. There's those three possibilities, and we can't rule them out until we know definitively that she wasn't there and that she had no knowledge of this. So until we hear more, all three of those possibilities in my book are on the table. The most probable one is that scumbag going back there and moving her, and God only knows what. I didn't even want to get into it, but you know where I'm going with this. I don't put anything past him.
Who typically drove that Nissan. On February, the owner's name is blacked out in police reports, so we do not yet know who typically drove that Nissan. On February 26th at 8:31 in the morning, the day Soto disappeared, surveillance cameras reportedly captured video of Sterns' Lincoln leaving the apartment complex where the teen lived with her mom. According to police, Soto's body could be seen slumped over in the passenger seat. About an hour later, cameras at a nearby office building allegedly captured video of Sterns' car entering a parking garage and someone moving a female body from the front seat to the trunk. At 10:14 a.m., Sterns' Lincoln is photographed returning to the apartment complex, police say. A few hours later, it leaves again. So where did Sterns' car go? Well, according to this newly released report, detectives were able to retrace its movements using automated license plate readers, traffic cameras, and other surveillance video. Photographed leaving the apartment complex and heading east towards St. Cloud along nearly the exact same route as Sterns' car took the previous day. Detectives say the white Nissan also turned down Old Hickory Tree Drive, where Soto's body was eventually found. About 35 minutes later, investigators say the white Nissan got back on US 192 and returned to the apartment complex. So the big question, who was driving that white Nissan? Well, at this point, that still remains a mystery. These records do not indicate whether detectives think it was Sterns, maybe returning to the crime scene in a different vehicle, or perhaps someone else.
The most high probability is that Stephan Sterns was all wired and nervous and paranoid that next day. On the Tuesday, the 27th of February, he took the white Nissan at 3:16 a.m. and went out the front gate of the Venetian Bay Villages complex. And he went back to that crime scene and moved or covered Madeline Soto to try to evade detection. And that's what I firmly believe that he did here. And you hear it from this reporter. They know it was in that vehicle, as I stated previously, that the cameras at Venetian Bay at the entrance and exit, the back exit he took with the MKZ, the front he took with this car both times, in and out. Those cameras are good enough to where it's close and it's going to get who is inside that car, who's the operator, who's sitting in the passenger seat, who's in the back seat, and they have it. Of course, it's not released because this has to go to trial. But gonna have to tell you right now, the evidence against Stephan Sterns is overwhelming. It's overwhelming. And barring some kind of complete incompetence by the investigators, and I don't see it here. I don't see Karen Reed type investigation with Trooper Proctor here in Florida. These men and women had their shit together as it pertains to this investigation. The documents that I read, 896 pages, 64 pages, everything that I read is tight.